So if we see high levels of mold and we've ruled out there's no water leak, then more than likely the next step is, unless there's no, make sure there's no water leak, there's no crawl space issue or attic ventilation issue. As long as those things are ruled out and there's no moisture coming in the home, we're going to clean out the air with good quality air filtration. We're going to make sure we treat the mold in the house. We're going to do the BioBalance solution spray. We're going to use a dry fogger in it to get the size particles really small so we can get them under drywall or under floorboards and in between different things, set them through the HVAC to really clean things out. And I like the BioBalance solution, which is typically tangerine, citrus, lime, lemon-based essential oils that tend to not create nasty secondary metabolites. So this is a great way to treat the home. We can also do certain candles too that are helpful as well. We'll put links down below. This can be a very powerful way to treat mold that's in your home in a non-toxic way and not create secondary metabolites. So some people may use corncrobium or other types of compounds, and that can leave nasty secondary metabolites. So these are great ways to treat it. And again, everything I'm talking about is we don't have active damage. We don't have the drywall. We don't have to cut things out and use a negative air containment to deal with the issue. Right now, we know there's mold, but we don't have a leak. We don't have an acute issue that's clear. So when we see things like this, we're going to be going after the chronic levels of humidity. We're also may just lean on the fact this mold could have been there from previous issues. Maybe a remediation, maybe just the humidity being higher over time. So we're going to fix the air. We're going to decrease the humidity in the air. We can either do individual dehumidifiers. I personally like a whole house dehumidifier. That way all the air that circulates goes through one central unit, and then it drains everything out. And then we can use air conditioning if we need. But a lot of times we can have high levels of humidity, especially if you're dealing with the basement. Basements are notorious for having high levels of humidity and even being cool, right? Basements are very cool, but you'll have high levels of humidity based on the heat sink between the outside foundation and the ground, and then the inside temperature being typically higher. There's this heat sink that happens, and moisture typically occurs. I have a whole house dehumidifier, but I also have certain thermostats that will detect the humidity, and my humidity in my basement was always 20% higher than the rest of my home. So where I live, the humidity is pretty good most of the year, except the summer, but then when I have the air conditioning on, it knocks it down. I still have a whole house dehumidifier just in case to be able to knock down that humidity to at least 50%. And it makes a huge difference. Number one, I'm a lot more comfortable, right? Things aren't as sticky and such. But number two, that it makes it very difficult for mold to grow. And then I have different air filters throughout my house. I have a molecule air filter in my first floor. I have Austin air filters in my basement, home office, and my bedroom. I have a Austin Air smaller units for some of the other rooms in my home, and I have a Air Doctor for one of my son's rooms. And those work great. They work phenomenal. I like the Austin Air the most for specific mold issues due to the fact that it has a high quality HEPA, which is what all good filters have, but it also has the 15 pounds of zeolite and activated charcoal each, so 30 pounds total, 15 for the junior in the HealthMate Plus, and those will help filter out mold toxins and specific volatile organic compounds. So I like that. So first step is get the humidity down. Number two, treat the air. Now, in this video, we're not talking about acute water leaks. We're not talking about acute damage. We're talking about very subtle things where we know mold's present, but we don't have a water leak issue that's active. So we're going to get a really good air scrubber, a really good air filter. I mentioned the ones that I like. We'll put links down below so you guys have access to what I specifically use for my family and my patients. And then we're going to treat the air. And then we can treat it acutely with the BioBalance solution. And we can also use specific candles, and we can even get on a maintenance regimen if, things in your home can't be dialed in all the time in regards to humidity. We may just treat it quarterly and come up with a pretty good protocol to address that. And again, I like the BioBalance solution. We'll put links down below. I got a promo code, I think, to save 15%. So if you want to save some money on some of the testing and on some of the solutions to treat the mold, those are going to be your best bets to look down below. And then the citrus candle can be a nice acute or a nice chronic way of treating it. It may not be enough to hit it in full force, but it can be a great way to light that when you're in the bathroom or you're creating more humidity in your home from running water. You can use that to kind of create a nice antimicrobial environment without having to go full force with that. And again, everything I'm recommending are things that I do personally myself and with hundreds of patients And we'll put down below some podcasts and some deeper interviews I've done on this topic, so you guys can, if you really want to roll up your sleeves and dive in, that'll give you some more intel.